There are some things that I want to say at the beginning of this video. First is our air conditioner has been turned on, so if you hear a roaring in the background, we need air. So that's what the roaring in the background is. I can't really do much about that, except for say, it's keeping us cool. The second thing that I want to say is I'm going to do another sort of little mini tatting treat. I've been showing folks how to do these different tatting motifs. They've been very fun. I'm going to do another one today. So this video is not going to be a short, under 5-minute video. It will be longer. I'll try to keep it under 25 minutes, but it will be longer. The third thing that I want to say is keep an open mind on this one. This one is something that's done purely for fun. When we get started, you may be asking, what am I doing this for? Just keep in mind, it really doesn't have a purpose as far as a decorative element. You might find a decorative element in it, but this is really more for fun. I am going to use some pens. I've been using this Jane Davenport fountain pen to write in my journal. I really do like that, but I'm going to switch that out for a gel pen, just a regular black pen to do the motif. I also have some gel pens that was sent to me by Marianne Macmillan. I think these are the G2 pens. I pulled out 2 colors, a blue and an orange gold color. And I have 2 of these Pen Plus gear. Let me bring this up. In fact, I'm going to be pulling from this throughout my tatting treats series. I got this at Walmart. I believe Pen Plus Gear is a Walmart brand. I can usually buy 2 of these in a package for 44 cents. I really do like them. They work for me, and they're inexpensive. This package of 30, I believe, cost me around $11 retail, which I thought was very reasonable. But when you do these, as you can tell, I've been using this one quite a bit. This is a newer one, and this point is just a little bit sharper. See the difference? I have been wearing the point down on this one. So when you pull these pens, especially when you're working with a motif that's kind of close together, you want a finer point, maybe a sharper point, a newer pen. Or you could go to a regular gel pen and use that, or you could use your fine line paint applicator. So what are we going to do? Well, let's get started. Keep an open mind. I'm going to talk my way through this. I may go into segments where I do fast forward, but that will be when I'm doing a very repetitive element on the page, and you go, okay, I got that, but I'm still wanting to finish it on the page. I think I will work on just one side of this double page layout, so we're just going to work on this side. Here's where the fun comes in. Take a black ink pen, a blue ink pen, just a regular, if you have a ballpoint pen, you can use that. You can use a pencil. You can use your marker, but I really do recommend for this one to use an ink pen or a pencil or something. Save your marker for a little bit later. I want you to close your eyes. Close your eyes. Have your eyes closed. You can kind of figure out where your page is, and I want you to scribble on this page. Now when you're scribbling, don't worry about what the marks you're putting down here. It does not matter. I just want you, don't go like this. Well, I guess you could go like that, but what I want you to do is some big loopy scribbling, just kind of like this. Just make marks on your page. If your pen comes up and you have to start another line, that's okay. Get quite a few marks on your page. You can make a few of them darker if you want. Okay? All right. Now you can open your eyes. That's what I did. That's my scribble. I'm pretty happy with that. So, I can hear you. You're saying, all right, we've got a tangled thread already to tat with. How are we going to untangle this? Now, you can pull from your markers, or you can use a black marker that has a nice fine point on it, maybe a new one where the felt has not been worn down. I think that I'm going to pull the blue one here. These are Pen Plus Gear. They're permanent markers. And choose a point on your scribble. Choose a line to start with. And I think I'm going to turn my journal sideways, and I'm going to choose this outside line right here. You can be at the base of the line or just a little bit above. I'm going to go just a little bit above, and I'm going to make my loops. I'm going to do the same basic loop shape, and just follow that line. Just keep following it. Try to leave a little space in there, but if you get too close together, do not worry about it. Just keep going. Now, I think my line kind of goes down this way and then comes off over this way, so that's the way I'm going. I'm letting my scribble define where my tatting is going. Now I do think that my line comes over this way. Don't worry if you mark out some of your other scribble lines. That's okay. We're just playing here. They'll just be there in the background. Now I'm just going to follow this. I'm following my scribble line. And keep in mind, this is for fun. This really does not have, we're not trying to make anything beautiful, like a beautiful motif or anything like that. So why are we doing it? Well, for one thing, it kind of shows you how organic these lines can be. And even if you have some thread, your threads and your ribbons, they're kind of organic in nature. They never really fall straight like that unless you line them up and glue them down. When you let your lines fall, they're very organic in nature. And so we are kind of mimicking that in a way, not purposely, just to kind of have fun. And just stick with me here and follow my reasoning. Follow along with me. Now my line's going to come down to this point. Let me get down there. And it's going to meet and intersect my other line. And I'm just going to stop it there, because I don't want to intersect. In all reality, one thread would be crossing over the other, but it kind of gets messy if you do that. So I'm just going to let it stop, and I think I'm going to pick up with this line right here, right in here. No, that's not a good one. I want one that intersects. I'm going to pick up with this line. this line that goes right here. And in fact, I think I'll start it right out on the outside. And I'm just going to do my loops, keep doing the loops. You'll get better at them the more you do. Now we're at another intersection here. Don't try to scribble over it. Just stop and hop over, do a jump, do a space, and go to the line. You'll be much happier if you do in the long run, because once you start putting all your little loops in there, it gets kind of crowded. So just keep going. I think I can get one more. See, I'm at another intersection. I'm going to jump over to here and go up, follow this up over this way, and then it'll come off over that way. Now you can do as many of these as you are happy doing. Let me get to a good stopping point here. And let's see, I'm going to let my line follow here because I want it to come and loop over this way. Just keep drawing your loops. I'm at an intersection, so I'm going to jump from here to here, and I'm going to let my loops run off of the page. How fun was that? So what we have really is a tatted scribble. Now you could keep going in here if you wanted, but it will get very, very crowded. What I want to do is go in and start putting in some of the little loops, and that's why I say use a pen that has a fine point on it, because by the time you use these pens for a lot of different things, it starts wearing down the point. It's still good, but you can't get pretty little loops in here. So I'm just going to start putting in my little loops, my little connector loops here. And don't worry about these if they're not perfect. We're not working for perfection here. We're basically tatting a scribble. That's kind of a fun name, isn't it? Now see, I'm at the intersection here, and even in there, that's starting to get a little bit too crowded in there for me. Let me jump over here. Put as many little loops in here as you're comfortable. Sometimes you may only get a couple on there. Sometimes you may get as many as 5 on there. Now what I like to do, let's see, let's go ahead and let's do this area here first. See, it gets, when it starts to get crowded, it starts to get dark because the ink is filling up the space. Okay, now I have this entire section here tatted, but what I like to do is I have a baseline here. See my base of all the loops here, where it's really the bottoms of the loops. I like to come in and put in tiny little loops on that, because I really do think that it just adds to the elegance of the sketch. That's just my opinion. And I find that when you do these little loops, if you can have them skinnier at the bottom and fatter at the top, you'll have a much prettier little loop. But sometimes with a fat marker, that's not always easy. So if you have fine point markers, you might want to pull out a fine point marker the same color, or even a different color would be pretty. You know, it really doesn't matter. This is a scribble. This is a scribble, but what fun. What fun it is to do that. See, isn't that a lot prettier? Well, let's put some little loops in here. All right, so now at this point, you heard me talk you through this. I'm going to go into fast forward and complete this part in here. I'm not going to do anything with these scribbles because, to be honest with you, I really feel that if I get too much on this page, I feel like it'll be too messy. I like the composition of this. It covers the whole page. I've got a nice defined area here, a nice defined area here, and a nice defined area there. Kind of rule of thirds. I've got a lot of scribble marks in there, but that's okay. Those are just the ones we chose not to use. Okay? So I'm going to go into fast forward and finish these, and when I'm done with that, I'll come back and we'll take a look at it. Okay, I'm really happy with this. What a beautiful scribble this turned out to be. Now there is something else that I like to do, and I showed this in my Mary's Mystery 2 where I was showing the first tatting technique, and I'll show it again here. Take the flat of your pen, and you could probably even go back and use, maybe I'll go back to that black one that has the point that's kind of worn down, and come back in and make these loop lines thicker. You can either do that with blue or black. It's just a color difference. I'm using black here because I don't want to wear this point down too much. You can get fine point markers. I just don't happen to have any right at my hand right now. I might have some somewhere. My spring cleaning has turned into summer sorting, but I'm getting there. I am getting there. So just keep making this line thicker, and it defines it a little bit more, and it really is a nice contrast to those little loops that you put in there on each loop. How fun was that? Now I was going to use these gel pens, but I'm liking this like it is. I like the black and the blue contrast with the white. So I think I'm going to hold these for another project. I have an idea of how I want to use them, but I decided not to use them here. So let's use the same black pen. Has the point where it's wearing down, and I'm going to go in and put in some dots. Okay, I am really liking this. The only thing I think that I want to do to this now is put a border on it, and I'm just going to draw a big black border around here. I'm pretty happy with that. Now, I'll pull out a red here, and I'm just going to journal. Let's go ahead and sign it and date it. Now, somebody may be saying to you, so what did you do? And really, all you did was have fun with the scribble. And you kind of practiced your loops and your dots, and I look at this page and I think, well, maybe grandmother dropped her trim here. Doesn't that look like the natural way that a piece of tatted trim would fall if it were laying on the table? So it was really fun to do this. It's just a fun exercise. Nothing with earth-shaking meaning. But as I did this, my mind started going, well, what could I do with this? And I did think up of some things, so I'll share that again later. Let me know if you've enjoyed this, if you want to see more. And I will see you tomorrow morning.